No, I mean this is a 5-passenger with a utility off the back of it, so it's what people have been asking.
I mean, are they flat on
So the
floor
batteries,
then, or-
is the battery pack something that's within sight now, or is it something that's?
No, it is. So we're developing. Yeah, we are.
Production.
Yes, it is.
2017.
Yeah, we haven't really set the date yet, but look for it here over the next year and a half. So yeah.
Really?
Replace the Spark EV, or will this be an additional?
Well, I mean, there's an overlap timing-wise, Melissa. So there'll be an overlap there, and I'm not sure we'll replace it because I think we've got a great car with the Spark Path, so we'll run that for a while as well. It's different, right? I mean, this is not a utility, and if you look at the Volt here, you can get 5 people in that too. So,
But this is a pure battery electric.
Yes,
This
yes,
is full
it is.
compliance with California and all that.
it is a all-electric.
Sold in
battery electric.
Sold in 50 states. Sold globally. I mean, what's
We haven't announced the distribution and sale of this, but we're planning on a bigger distribution than what the Spark Path is.
Is that crossover type body style, Mark?
I haven't announced the production facility yet either.
Does that crossover?
Haven't announced that yet.
Level 1, level 2, level 3 charging?
We haven't announced that quite yet either.
Are you going to make it so it's compatible with Mr. Musk's superchargers?
I'm not sure that's possible.
I don't know if that's possible
Well,
either.
I don't know. You can buy his technology.
I don't know
Just
about
giving away
that.
for free.
Frankly, Joe, I just don't know.
Is there a battery partner you're working with?
Yes.
Mark, when does the new Volt go on sale, and what are your expectations for the vehicle sales-wise?
Yeah, we're not going to. Bill, how are you? Happy New Year. haven't set any sales expectations for either one of these. End of story.
But the new Volt will be available when?
It'll be here this year. Yeah, very shortly. That's pretty much the productionized version of it right there.
Does this crossover body style make it easier to package the battery?
It makes it more challenging, actually, because you'll see a flat battery pack here to get the 5-passenger and the utility here, so it's quite different. I don't know if it's I think the battery chemistry and the development of the battery pack coincides with the ability to package something like this. This is quite different than the Volt.
Mark, you guys talked about 5 new cars next gen
Yes.
coming out. Would the Cruise be one of those?
Yes.
When do you think that might be announced?
The Cruise itself, like shown in an auto show or announced?
Well, announced and show.
It'll be over the next. We're in auto show season, so I'll leave it at that. So yeah, we're not gonna tell you that, but it's due. Yeah, we all know it's due. It's deep in the life cycle. I think you're gonna be amazed by it. I think the other thing you're gonna be amazed by is a car called Malibu, which is deep into its life cycle as well. So we saw the headlights and the packages in front of those cars, and I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited about the passenger car lineup as we begin to focus on the cars and Chevrolet after we've launched the trucks. So and by the way, the trucks. When we launched K2XX here over the last year and a half, I said every year we're going to be doing something different and exciting on those trucks. So look for a lot of excitement, technology, everything on those trucks. We're in it to win. So.
Mark, what are the 5 new vehicles? Cruise, Volt?
Well, Malibu, and I think probably Camaro's probably deep into its life cycle too.
This 4.
Are you happy with this?
Spark.
Are you happy with the sales of the Cruise, even in its 4th year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, Lordstown is making a great product, and we put a diesel in there, and the diesel has been right on what we thought it would do, and even with gas prices and all that stuff that's been happening, we've been selling the heck out of the car, but it's still a great value and it's a great car. So very excited, and I know that the team again in Lordstown is so fired up to do the new one, so that's a good sign.
Do you think the gas prices make the electric car a bit less sellable to consumers?
Not if we offer 200 miles of range and right around $30,000 bucks. No, I mean, the consumer. I think there's been fundamental changes in buying behavior, which is really important. And we don't plan vehicles around episodic gas prices. That's a very dangerous business. So we look at trends, we look at attitudes, we look at all that. And I think electrification is here to stay, and we're investing in it and for the long haul.
Do you have global plans for that?
Yeah, we do.
What's the future of the NAIAS?
We're not going to announce that today either. But sorry.
Yeah. Are you happy with how it's going in America?
Well, we're doing exactly what we said.
Was there
Volume-wise.
any reason to do this type of
body style versus another sedan? Is this something customers have been asking for?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at we've gotten so much data from our Volt buyers and our Volt buyer database, and then our Spark database as well. I mean, we take all that data and we look at, why has electrification been slower than what people thought it would be? And, I think the range, I think the price, and I think the utility are key things. People are pretty rational around their use on a daily basis of what these vehicles offer. When you get up into the 400 plus type range on a Volt, both electric and gas, and then you talk about over 200 miles of range on a pure electric, and then you talk about some utility along with it, and you can carry people and you can carry all your family. Those are things that people really want, and we know that, and so that changes the equation, and that's what we're here to do.
Tell me about fun to drive. Weight versus the Volt and power versus the Volt?
Haven't talked about that quite yet, Frank, just because we're a little farther out on this vehicle than we are with the Volt. So, but we're getting there. So the equation works. We just don't have the final numbers on that stuff yet.
But can you trade off an engine for a battery on a weight basis about sort of similar?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I think you can, and I think you can do it if you get the density and you get the mass of the core vehicle light enough to make where that makes sense. So it's not just a battery and it's not just the density of power issue. It's a whole vehicle issue, and I think that's really important. People tend to miss that and focus on, you don't, but I'm just saying people in general can understand battery packs and the cost and the energy density, but you really have to look at the whole vehicle when you do something like this. And I think if you look at the seats on that, seats are something that is, a big safety item. It's hard to take mass out of it and have them comfortable and meet all the requirements. And I think you see some breakthrough technology on seats here. I think you're going to see some breakthrough technology on materials and mass as well. So we're pretty excited about that.
Is this a dedicated
Sure. Just how different is it from the Japanese version of the Asian market?
It's way different. I'll leave it at that.
So is this a dedicated architecture, or is this something?
By the way, I got a kick out of when people said this is basically the Cruise is going to come into North America, and I said, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Is this a dedicated architecture, or something you could use?
This right here, the Bolt?
The Bolt.
Yes.
So it's not a gasoline car that could be an electric car that could be whatever.
No, this is and the reason why you'll see that here is because we're talking about 5 people here, and we're talking about a flat battery pack, and we're talking about some utility off the back end of it. So to be able to do that and package it and get that kind of range and mass out of it, you really have to do something a little bit different.
Materials? I mean, is it made out of steel or aluminum or what?
Yeah, well, we haven't announced that either, but I think you look if you look at some of the comments we've made around mixed materials in the past, I'm not sure that we're going to go all one way or the other. We've got a pretty mature manufacturing and joining technology that we're going to introduce, and we have been introducing here on lots of different cars and trucks, and I think you'll see that continue.
So on the Bolt, the beams, boy, I know you don't have a specific launch date. What's your goal? You want it to be out in 3-5 years?
Oh no, this is over about a year and a half here. We'll start solidifying the launch plans here. So this is not.
Come on, if it's a year and a half out, you've ordered the tools.
What?
If it's a year and a half out, you've ordered the tools.
Mark, how important is the electric car to your cafe?
I never said I didn't.
I know you. I saw the look. I'm good.
How critical is having an electric vehicle to your cafe?
Well, I think it's the whole regulatory grams of CO2 approach, on what we're doing and what we're enabling here. We have to find different ways of doing things, and I think this is, we take the Find New Roads and Chevrolet very seriously from an engineering product development standpoint, and that's why, frankly, you're going to see some things that people don't expect from us and don't think we can do, and we're going to continue doing that. Very important.
After this last year, with everything that's happened, how different is this company and what's changed?
I think, honestly, I've been around the place for a while, and I think it's a grounding experience over the last 8 years of what this company's been through, and I think that it has renewed our resilience and our will to win, and I feel really good about that. So I think there's people here that just are here for all the right reasons, and I'm excited about that.
Gas prices being so low, how do you expect this car to the sales meetings?
Well, again, if you offer the right equation, I think gas prices are sort of immaterial because you see fundamental sustainability in the buying choice is quite different than it was, 2 and 3 years ago. So gas prices are episodic. The changes in buying behavior around sustainability, the environment, and electrification are permanent. So we think we hit the sweet spot here with over 200 miles of range, and I think if you offer it with a good value and a good utility, you're going to do great. So we're right on.
Do you have the technology right now to meet this 200-mile range, or are you hoping the technology gets to the finish line when you launch?
No, we have the technology.
Mark, should we see battery electric as the future direction of your electrification efforts, or might we see more Voltec applications?
I think you're going to see a mixed bag here, Mike, of things, and I've always said that we are not a silver bullet company in terms of solutions for the customers. So we're going to let the marketplace tell us a little bit here. But you saw us do the ELR there for Cadillac, an important technological step here on a portfolio basis to get the battery learnings and the duty cycle of doing that in a little bit different place and doing a different price point, obviously, but also getting another step and another total validation of another total vehicle, so we can do things like the Bolt and the next gen Bolt. We needed that step. We need to do some of that. Got all new electric motors in these cars, so we're doing that ourselves. So we need those steps, and we need that learning, and we need to know what customers think.